Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Darius the Artist here today with some more Avengers tips and tricks, and today I wanted to go over the different types of damage you can find yourself dealing in the game. I find that getting familiar with the different damage types you can do very useful for grinding specific gear or working on an awesome character build for in-game, so let's hop right into it. So the first kind of damage I wanted to talk about today is actually particle damage. Particle damage is probably the most popular type of damage among the community so far. It's very good against higher tier enemies such as elite exos and elite dreadbots. It makes them very small and they deal less damage while also taking more damage. Particle damage is actually better, I find, for single target combat versus large AoE attacks. So a character like Hulk, Captain America, characters like that do seem to do really well with this particular type of damage. And it's also very fun to use, I find, and you have the added effect of making enemies very small, so you get a good laugh out of it at the end. So the next kind of damage I want to talk about is my personal favorite, which is gamma damage or gamma poisoning. This particular damage is very easy to spot as enemies start to have a green cloud kind of build up over their body. You kind of see their health start to take a little bit of a damage tick as the fight progresses. This is very good for fighting against large areas of enemies because the gamma can actually spread to other enemies. When an enemy dies, they'll leave like a large gamma explosion / cloud around them. And it's just a very fun and a very useful status effect particular type of damage I found. So if you guys are looking for any particular damage over time, damage tick type of effects, gamma is definitely the way to go in that particular area. There are some fun builds I've seen out there for certain characters, namely Hulk, who has some very useful gear and properties focused on gamma damage. So up next we have cosmic damage. Cosmic damage is actually really cool because you can heal yourself while also doing extra damage to enemies. I find that players or characters who have ranged abilities, someone like Black Widow might benefit for something like this because you can kind of stay away from enemies as well as heal yourself. Kind of think of it similar to Hulk's rage intrinsic ability. And it also is really cool because it stacks with Captain America's ability Rally Cry, so you can deal even more damage on top. Hopefully we get to kind of see more type of interactions like this in the game because I think it's really healthy and it's really fun, and it brings variation to combat as well. Okay, so let's talk about cryo damage. Cryo damage is very useful against enemies who have high defensive capabilities because it allows you the ability to freeze and slow them down. Enemies like the Riot Bot, I believe, and other enemies who might have shields are very good. It's very good to use cryo against them because it slows them down and it kind of negates a lot of their defensive abilities. But beware because enemies can also have cryo on their attacks as well, and it can be very cumbersome to get out of it. If you're frozen, you have to press a specific button really quickly to break out of it. But the enemies and the characters who have ranged abilities, cryo seems to work really well. So someone like Iron Man or Black Widow or even Thor, you can use a specific cryo build with them because they can get around the battlefield, focus on a specific enemy who may be a high threat on the battlefield, and you can freeze them right in place and allow your team to do damage to that particular enemy. Alright guys, so let's talk about plasma damage. Plasma damage is good because you can apply the status effect of burning an enemy, and enemies who are burned, their attacks can be interrupted, and they also causes them to stagger, so you can use takedowns and get some really good damage on those enemies. It's also very useful for enemies who you might be having trouble with on the battlefield. You know, once again, you really want to prioritize the enemies you're trying to fight and really identify the threats on the battlefield quickly to get rid of them, especially in higher tier content, because that way you'll have an easier time fighting against these enemies as you're moving through the fight. So a character like Iron Man, who has really good AoE damage, who can apply these status effects rather quickly, is a very good candidate for this. And burn can actually be pretty useful and fun when you're playing in multiplayer with your friends. Alright, and last but not least, let's talk about shock. So shock damage is very good against enemies because it allows you to increase your crit chance while also doing more damage to them. So if you're focused on a high crit build, such as something with Black Widow with her dual pistols, which you can apply the shock damage very quickly, you can do major damage to enemies. And the way you really want it to do it is you want to apply shock by using some of your quick attacks, you know, a light attack, your light melee attacks, versus using your powerful abilities, because that way you want to maximize the amount of damage you're doing. So once again, those larger enemies, those higher threat enemies on the battlefield, you really want to focus those guys down, hit them hard, hit them quick. Someone like Black Widow, I believe she has an excellent crit build out there right now, and I highly recommend you guys check it out if you're looking for an example of some sort of shock build that you want to kind of lean into, which can be very effective, especially once again playing with friends, or even doing solo content with your companion characters. Alright guys, so that's the different kind of damage you can deal in Avengers. Those are the main damage types that you can find yourself dealing and expect to be dealt to you in the game. I just wanted to say thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this video and hanging out. Hope you guys found this at least a little bit helpful and a little bit useful. I will be doing more videos of this kind in the future. And if you guys really like this video, like this kind of content, please leave a like and thumbs up on the video, and leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Thank you guys for hanging out again, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.